Hey guys, Mr. E here, and today, yeah, it's a bit of a dour day. It's a sad day at the Mr. E Incorporated facilities. We have not been chosen this time around to be part of the extra exclusive early access program, and yeah, that's a bummer. So in a material sense, what this will mean is that there's not going to be those 4 to 5 day early streams where I'm able to showcase the early access NDA drops, and I can showcase everything that was on the test server and like get you guys appraised of what's going to be happening when you get into the game. I know those are very popular. That's going to have to be adjusted. There will still be those streams going up, as I understand. I think there are creators who will be able to do that early access and have that privilege, which is awesome. So when we find out more about that, I'll direct you to viewing them so you can get that sort of stuff. It'll also obviously have like some knock-on effects on the content I'm able to produce, especially like leading up to the release, because I won't be able to play it myself. So that's the real negative here, and I know there's probably some guys out there who are bummed about that. There's probably also some people out there who are like, yes, finally, knocking Mr. E off his throne. They're gonna take him down. Good luck, but first of all, but second of all, like, I'm fine, right? I'm bummed, but I'm gonna be fine. And so the reason I wanted to make this video here today is I got kind of like three-ish reasons. Number one is just to be super transparent. I just wanted to talk about this so that I don't have to talk about it over and over and over and over and over again over the next like weeks to month or so, where people are just going to ask me the same like 2 or 3 questions. Now, people are obviously still going to ask me about that because they're not going to watch the video, or they are and they're somehow still going to miss it. But yeah, hopefully I can get ahead of that and just kind of like put it all out there in the open, how I feel about the situation, how the situation arose, etc. Second thing going on here is that, like, this, I think this maybe is the point I want to drive home more clear than anything, so listen up, peeps. Okay, this is going to cause drama, right? There's no way of stopping that the ship has already sailed. There's people who are on the inside of the Skitarii early access, and there's people who are on the outside. No matter how you cut that pizza, that's going to cause drama, that's going to cause tensions. So there's going to be people who hate the people that were chosen. There's going to be people who really like the people that weren't chosen. All I'm saying is, if you're a person who's watching this right now and you were thinking about going to the forums or the Reddit or wherever the fuck and making a post like, why didn't this person get in? Or why did this person get in? They suck and blah, 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 and like bring it, dramifying it. Let's just not, right? Let's just not. There, as I'll hopefully be able to explain to you today, really isn't a situation that was kind of under anyone's control. I think they're just making the best of what they got right now. So yeah, let's just kind of like not shit on other creators. Let's not shit on Fat Shark about it, and we can just move forward, right? It'll literally only matter for like 3 days or 4 days. And we should also, the third reason I want to do this, by the way, is to like say the behavior I want to see is we're going to champion the people who did get the early access, right? I don't know who they are just yet, but we have pretty good relationships here at the Mystery channel with other channels in the space. And so I'm guessing that they're probably some of our friends, some of our familiar faces. So we're going to champion them. We're going to hang out with them. If we're really nice guys, we can maybe even sneak in and do some collaborative streaming and collaboration videos and stuff in that early access, and that'll be awesome. So let's champion the people who did get it. Obviously, this is going to be big and exciting for their channels because holy shit, it's Skitarii, right? So let's be happy for them. Let's not be shitty about the fact that we didn't get it or our favorite person didn't get it, etc. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to say up front here before I even talk about the stuff at all. Just kind of laying down the okay. Let's be nice. Let's be cordial about this. It's not a big deal. All right, so what happened? Right, that's the first major question I'm getting asked over and over. What happened? Why isn't you getting into the thing? Or why isn't X person getting the thing, and why are these other people? So more or less what happened was we have a big ass creator program for this game. Probably bigger than the game. Like it makes no sense how big it is given the size of the game. Honestly, there's more than like 100 to 200 people. It's like between 100 and 200 as I remember. But that's a lot of people. And it was headed by one person, that was Fat Shark Catfish. And think about this, right? Her job was to look over all of the content the creators that were in there were making about the new release prior to the release, to make certain they weren't like saying anything they weren't supposed to say. Like, if just me alone, I'm making like 3 or 4 videos a day. So she's gonna watch all of my goddamn yap, and then you have to watch everybody else's, and you know, you got to respond to, of course, there's like interpersonal conflicts, because you got like me, for instance, and I'm beefing with no less than 2 to 3 different creators in the Dark Tide space at any given time. So that's like a bunch of back and forth. And then you've got people asking questions just over and over and over. You're the one focal point for everybody who's trying to get their access to this and get more content, yada yada. It's just like, that's a lot of stuff to deal with. So she has left Fat Shark. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter why or how, she's just not there anymore. And so without the program head, she was managing all that stuff. Well, now it has been sort of distributed across of several other people's responsibilities. Well, these are people with full-time jobs that were already doing stuff, and they're leading up to maybe the biggest release in the game's history, so they're kind of like slammed, if that makes any sense. So I kind of saw this coming from a ways out, where I was like, oh, you know, the obvious thing to do here from a workload perspective is to scale the program way down. Like, I'm very surprised, honestly, that they kept anything at all. I'm also very like happy that they did choose to keep the sponsorships. So as I understand it, I think they're going with just the people who are being sponsored to put videos on their channel, so they can have the, you know, the access to make those videos and stuff, which makes sense. I'm very happy that they continue to keep that around, because obviously, like, that's a big opportunity for the people who did get selected for that, and I think that that's a very valuable thing that they do for the community and vice versa. So I'm very happy they kept that around, rather than just like what they could have done, which is to say, nope, fuck it, no early access for anybody, no program whatsoever, no sponsored content on the channel, we'll make our own, get lost, like content creators. And that could have very well been their like a nuclear option there, and they didn't go with that. So some people do get access, which means that all of us will get to see early access stuff, which is preferable to the alternative. So I think that, yes, it's a sucky decision. I think it's just a realistic decision given the cards they were dealt, which is that just there's too much workload to go around without a person there. So they'll have to hire someone to fill that role, and hopefully it's back up and running before the next time around where we have this, and we'll be all good to go. But that's sort of what happened there. It's not like, oh, you know, they're beefing with these creators and or they really like these creators. I'm certain they like the creators they picked, but it's just a function of there was only bandwidth for certain numbers of people to get in there, so they chose the absolute minimum to keep it as simple as possible, as manageable as possible. That's how I understand it. Okay, so that's the biggest thing dealt with, right? Hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I'm still bummed that I didn't make that cut, but I am very excited for whoever did. Now, let's talk about the other things here, the things that will affect, like, you know, mystery content sloppers. So first of all, what's going to happen with the live streams? What's going to happen with the early access live streams? What will I be doing leading up to that? Well, I don't know yet. I haven't got anything like super nailed down, but we are, you know, a pretty cordial sort of guy. I've got a lot of feelers out there. People tend to like me. I think I've got good relationships with a lot of people in the community, and I'm hoping, just hoping, that at least one of the people that I am friends with is in the early access. And once the early access embargo is up, they can share that stuff. They can stream, you know, and show it to me. They can stream and I could cooperative stream with them. I could just restream their stream and just, you know, pause and like commentate on every little thing. I could even make content based on their content. We could collaborate together. All that stuff is possible. So the streams will happen, but they'll be adjusted. It won't be me who's able to actually play the game because I can't actually do it, but maybe I could backseat somebody and, you know, like I do normally when I'm playing Havoc. I just die and then I tell everyone how to play the game. So yeah, that's going to be the adjustment we'll have to make for the live streams. And remember, that'll only affect up until release. Yes, I'll know less on release about how to actually play the class than I would previously, but maybe it'll be more fun, right? I'll be going into it a little bit more fresh, just like you guys are. You'll get to see me develop my knowledge for the class from the ground up. And then the last thing I'll address is like, okay, what's this going to do for the content that I'll make? Because most of my viewership doesn't really view the live streams. Maybe you do some of the early access streams, but you don't view it all the time. But for the content I'm going to make, I think this will be the least affected. I have plans, schemes. I'm always scheming. I have plans to get information after the NDA is lifted, right? It'll have to be after that. So I'll be working overtime to get the information that I need from the content that is put out there by the creators who do have access, and then relay that to you. Because, like, I mean, listen, the slop must flow, as the saying goes. And sometimes the slop gods request a blood sacrifice. Sometimes in order to get the slop to flow, you have to stick your arm into the machine and really, like, you know, give that thing a pull, and it might just eat your arm. That's part of the risk we run here. So I'm going to have to, like, work my fucking ass off to get the content as the embargo lifts and then relay it to you guys, but I promise you I will do my absolute best to get you as much information as I have been able to in the past patches as well. And I think that also having strong relationships with the creators who are in the early access will help us greatly there. So yet another reason to be nice and kind to these creators and their communities. Okay, so there you go, guys. Hopefully it makes you feel a little bit more up to speed. I have no idea, by the way, about the time scale for any of this stuff. They're not going to tell me because I'm not in the early access program, so we'll have to wait until such time as one of these heretofore unnamed early access creators is able to say, hey, come check out my early access stream, and then we're going to dogpile on. We're gonna watch the hell out of their streams. We're going to analyze every little thing. So that's the plan going forward. I'm optimistic about it. You know, I'm a little bit bummed on the front end, but hey, you know, we're going to work through this, and we're still going to be successful because there's nothing we can't do together. Anyway, if you're still feeling bummed for me and you just, like, you know, you want to cheer me up, you can cheer me up in the monetary way by becoming a channel member. That's always awesome. Come hang out with me in the Discord. It's been blowing up lately. And if you want to, you know, just show your solidarity to me with no monetary commitment, you can name your Skitarii Fork. As we all know, Fork is the name for all noble Skitarii. All right. See you next time, guys. Mr. Yada here. Fork.